Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing great. Well, I'm here with yet another beautiful chapter to present in front of you. But before that, I have certain questions. Like, how do you define the word curiosity? So how will you define such people, or you might be one of them? If you can quickly think about, do a little mind-boggling task and come up with the answers in your own mind. Well, if you ask me, I would define curiosity as inquisitiveness or the questful mood of a person when the person wants to know more and is eager to know more, right? So you must be wondering why I'm talking all this, since absolutely it has a great connection with our next chapter called Madam Rides the Bus. So the real secret to Valli, the character, or Valliammai, is a particular personality trait of hers, that is the inquisitive nature. She was always very curious to know things, to figure out things, and she was always in a mood to ask questions. You know, that's a very good sign, and I think you all students should have that quality of asking questions to know more. Now, before I proceed, I have certain questions for you. Again, do the assessment in your mind. Is curiosity always a sign of intelligence? Yes or no? Why and why not? What causes curiosity in your brain? It's a little bit scientific question. Think about it. Should you be always curious about everything what you come across? Or you should be curious only on certain moments, like a debate or a discussion or an examination hall, or somebody asks you certain questions? Now, what is the exact example of curiosity? Well, for me, the exact example of curiosity is the protagonist of the next chapter called Madam Rides the Bus, that is Valliammai, who is nicknamed as Valli.
About the author. Vallikanan is the pseudonym of R.S. Krishnasamy. He is an Indian Tamil writer, journalist, critic, translator. He started writing at a very young age and had published 25 books by the time he was 30. He worked for magazines also. He wrote a total of 75 books in his life, novels, poetry collections, plays, and essay anthologies. In 1978, he was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award for Tamil for his critical work on modern Tamil poetry. Well, today's theme of the story, through Valli, that is Valliammai, in Madam Rides the Bus, Vallikanan depicts the curious nature of the children. Chapter's introduction. The lesson, Madam Rides the Bus, is about a brave 8-year-old who had a strong desire, and along with it, the courage to fulfill it. She liked gazing at the hustle and the bustle of the street, and her favorite part was the sight of a bus arriving and departing. Thus, she developed a deep desire to travel by bus. For that, she needed all sorts of information about the bus journey, collect the bus fare, and then plan it so that she could be back at home before her mother woke up from her afternoon nap. Thus, the story brings us recounts of how innocently but responsibly Valliammai fulfilled her deepest desire and experiences on the bus ride. But then, how an unfortunate incident makes her realize the reality of death. Now let's go into the detailed explanation of the chapter. I have tried to divide the chapter into certain parts so that the explanation is easy and you can understand it part by part, bit by bit. Okay, now who is Valliammai? There was a brave girl named Valliammai. Her nickname was Valli, or rather she was called Valli as by the whole village. She was 8 years old. She wanted to know many things. That means she was a very curious girl. She would stand in front of the doorway of a house for several hours. She would see what was happening outside. She had no playmates. Valli's wish to ride the bus. Watching the things gave Valli many unusual experiences. There ran a bus between her village and the nearest town. Valli used to stand at her doorway and watch all the passengers there. Valli got great joy in seeing new sets of passengers every day. So day after day, she watched the bus. She soon developed a wish, rather a secret wish, to ride on that bus. Valli's thought about the ride. Now we can see now this girl is getting quite eager to get the bus ride, right? So Valli's wish to ride the bus became even stronger. It became really strong. She thought that if her friend described her riding in the bus, she would downplay her by saying that, oh my God, you are so proud. Now we all know this word proud is not a nasty word or a negative word, but yeah, in a village, if such English words are spoken, where they are claiming that the other person who has actually, traveled in a bus, they call her or tease her proud. That means, they are trying to demean her, or though she did not know the exact meaning of the word, but all sorts of people, especially Valli and all girls of her age group, they would just call her proud because they are just trying to show, boast that they have got the bus ride. Valli's knowledge about the ride. Now, Valli Amma listened to the talks of the people, the persons who traveled in the bus. Now, at times they are boastful. They used to say that, okay, it was such a lovely journey and all these things. And when a little girl like Valli used to listen to all such conversations, she used to get even more eager. So she learnt about the small or even the finest of the details of the journey. She now knew that the town was 6 miles away. The fare was 30 paise one way, so she knew what it will cost 2 ways journey. The time of the ride was 45 minutes. That also she calculated. That means she was an intelligent girl. She also knew how she would return. Thus she planned everything before starting the ride. Valli in the bus. One fine spring day, Valli rode in the bus in the afternoon time. The conductor was quite a jolly person. He was fond of joking. He understood that Valli spoke with pride and elegance. She was quite a small girl and travelling alone. He offered Valli a front seat, calling others to make way for Madam. There were only 6 or 7 passengers in the bus, and they were looking at the little girl who was travelling all alone, named Valli. They were laughing with the conductor on small conversations. Now Valli, our little Valli, felt it insulting, and she didn't like the whole thing in the beginning. Valli studies everything inside and outside the bus. Valli studies everything inside the bus. With all her minute observation, she was actually extremely elated to sit inside the bus for the first time. That was also one case. And she was observing each and everything, whatever she could see, her sight could catch. It had soft and cushioned, comfortable seats. It had a beautiful clock above the windscreen. She looked outside also, but she had to stand up on the seat because of her height and the curtain which was blocking her sight. The bus was going along the bank of a canal. She saw palm trees, mountains, and the blue sky. On the other side, there were green, beautiful fields. What happens inside the bus? Suddenly, an elderly person asked Valli not to stand up, calling her a child. Valli got angry. She replied proudly that she was not a child anymore. She had paid full fare like others. The conductor was humorous, as we knew. He added fuel to the fire. He told the elderly person that Valli was a grown-up madam. Valli looked at the conductor angrily. She told him that she was not a madam. Please don't call her by that name. And he had not yet given her the ticket. So this was a reminder coming from Valli to the conductor. The conductor smiled and gave her a ticket. The conductor's advice to Valli. Okay, by now, students, you all have understood that the conductor was really a very good person. He was a nice man who had a nice humor. Now, the conductor told Valli to sit comfortably and enjoy the ride. She should not stand. But Valli said she wanted to stand and see the view. He told Valli that she would fall down and hurt on sharp turns, and that was quite risky and she should not be standing. Look, students, we can see that this man is really a good human being and he's worried about the little girl who doesn't like to be called as a little child. That's why he addressed her as madam. He called Valli child. At this, Valli said that she was not a child. She told that she was an 8 years old big girl. Valli and an elderly woman. At the next stoppage, an elderly woman came and sat beside Valli. The woman asked Valli, very casually she asked Valli if she was all alone. Valli looked at the woman. She had ugly earrings, she had betel nut in her mouth, and betel juice was almost about to come out of her mouth. It was about to spill out. At this, Valli replied that she was all alone and had got a ticket too. The conductor added the same thing. Valli asked the conductor why he didn't mind his own business. She laughed with the conductor later on. So we can see a nice, bond between the conductor and the little girl Valli has grown. And now another lady walks into the bus and she sits next to Valli, who is again asking this girl, who is just thinking that how come a little girl of 8 years or maybe 8 to 10 years, she was not knowing her exact age, is traveling all alone. So anybody who will look at her like that will show his or her concern, right? So we see another such incident happening in one such stoppage. Now we see how Valli snubs the woman. The woman, as she was concerned about this little girl who was traveling all alone, so she, out of concern, tells Valli that it is not at all proper or rather good or safe for a little girl of her age to travel all alone. She asked Valli about her house, her address, and her parents, and where she stays, house number, etc. Valli replied that she need not bother about her whereabouts. She turned her face towards the window. Now let's know how Valli had planned for the ride. Valli had saved 60 paise for the bus journey with sacrifices only. She had resisted the desire to buy toys, balloons and all the luxurious stuffs, because you can understand at that age, at such a little age, you have fascination of all such things, right? All the different rides and balloons and toys and all those things. So she sacrificed on all those things and she saved the money. She had also killed her desire to ride in a merry-go-round. She had planned her first journey for long. She had stood at the front of her house to plan about it for days or maybe months. So after all these things, she could save some money, and that was 60 paise for the to and fro journey.